And we are live. Hey, everyone. It is another webinar for us here today. We've got a great partner, friend of ours with CompanyCam, David Buzzelli with JobProgress is going to join us today. And I feel really excited about the content we have today, David. I think there's a lot of value in here, and it's kind of something that's not the standard information that gets tossed around. It's good. So we're going to cover the 9 things a homeowner is looking for in a contractor, and hopefully we can really make this interactive. If you have questions or anything, we want to get those answered. If you've got feedback, comments, you want to add some things to this, we're here to learn as well. And so you can see here how the chat kind of works. So it's really intuitive. It's really easy. If you want to let us know where you're joining from, we always like to know that, kind of see where we're at across the country. And with that, let's kind of jump into things here. It looks like we've got a few people funneling in already, which is great. So today what we're going to cover, we're going to talk about what JobProgress is, who David is, what his background is. We're going to do a quick CompanyCam overview. And then we will talk about the JobProgress CompanyCam integration. And then we'll kind of get into the meat and potatoes of this, the 9 things homeowners are looking for in a contractor. I think that you're really, really going to enjoy that. So without further ado, let's jump into this. David, I know I kind of gave you a brief introduction, but why don't you tell everybody, who you are, kind of your background, and then we'll jump into what JobProgress is.
Hey, thanks a lot, Mike. I wanted to thank you for giving me some time to speak with a lot of CompanyCam audience members, JobProgress audience members, and then, of course, subscribers that may use both of our services. Hello, everyone. So JobProgress really, from a platform point of view, we really call it a run your business type of platform. It's a productivity environment for contractors. We really started serving roofers a while back. I come from my business partner, the guy who is the co-founder of JobProgress. His name's Dennis Darrow. He owns a company called Double D Construction. They've been in central New Jersey for probably 25 years, Mike. And they've been very successful, growing throughout that time period. But, it came to a time where he really wanted to retire, and he wanted to automate some things like business development, sales, operations, marketing, just get some sets of procedures and processes in place in the office and out in the field. And through our experience, not only with other software, but what he had been doing successfully for 25 years, we launched JobProgress. And we launched it with the idea that we were going to help people have a fighting chance to run their business a little more efficiently and effectively than they would otherwise without, a run your business platform. Personally, my background, I used to work for the government as an investigator with the Securities Exchange Commission. And so when I was a young man graduating college out of Rutgers, I read thousands of prospectuses, really outlined and was able to understand the inner workings of companies just from an operational perspective, small companies to very large scale, huge companies. I went through that for years reading those. And then I went into fundraising, raising money for companies, business development. I was on, I guess it was before the Shark Tank, there was, I don't know if you know this, Mike, before Shark Tank, I'm going to age myself here. There was a TV show on ABC called American Inventor, and they had 10,000 applicants, and they chose 250 from all the different states to go to California. And I was one of the people they chose back a long time ago. And I was in, as an inventor, business development. That's my background. I got into sales and construction and contracting. I helped at least Dennis Darrow from Double D rebuild the infrastructure for his company. And I learned, I had an experience, but really as a laborer in contracting. And my brothers that are contractors, but never really that sales point of view. I wanted to give a salesperson or an estimator an environment where tools they could record things more easily, interact with their customer easily, be able to show them different aspects of why their reputation in their community was in harmony with what they were saying in front of them. And so a lot of these things led me to partner up with awesome companies like CompanyCam and our other awesome integration partners and build our own homegrown solutions as well. And so that's what JobProgress is, and that's where I came from.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. It looks like we've got a really nice mix in the audience. We've got about 25% not currently using JobProgress, and then about 75% using JobProgress here with us. And those are about 50-50 on those using CompanyCam with JobProgress. So we've got a nice mix here. So I'm going to end that poll. I'm going to jump into CompanyCam really quick. And while we're doing that, I'll fire up a poll here with the kind of the inverse of if you're using CompanyCam. So I won't spend a ton of time on CompanyCam. If you've joined us for our webinars in the past, we do the same thing kind of on all of these, just a quick synopsis. But we're born out of the roofing industry here in Lincoln, Nebraska, a family-owned roofing company. And they were probably ahead of their time in terms of knowing the value of documenting and communicating with their teams. And there just wasn't a great solution for them. So their problem was basically, hey, how do I get the documentation and communication from the field back into the office where it's needed and where we can use it? And so they set out to fix that and created CompanyCam. So the solution here, as you can see, is CompanyCam. What it does is it automatically organizes all of your documentation by GPS location. So as you can see in this image here, you're going to see the address, the city, and then if you put a project name in there, it's going to have that as well. With the integration with JobProgress, what's great is this stuff passes seamlessly back and forth. So projects are created automatically, photos are passed back and forth automatically. So it's a really seamless process there. So with us, it's organized by the location. You're going to know who took the photo, when they took it, and then it's available in real time, which is usually the place where people say, hey, we've got a great process. My guys bring it in at the end of the day. Well, if that's the case, if something got messed up at 8 o'clock, you don't know that until you're actually digging through that documentation that evening, the next morning. And so you can waste complete full work days off of that. Whereas with this, you can see it in real time and you just have that nice connection with your team. The final slide here is just kind of how it's going to help your business. We believe that it's going to increase employee accountability. We see it time and time again, that the fact that you're able to see what's going on, communicate with them in real time, accountability is going to go up. It's going to really help you in terms of seeing what's happening on your jobs without having to leave the office or drive job site to job site. We got somebody here from Colorado Springs. I don't know if Colorado Springs is like Denver. I know it's smaller. I was in Denver last week, David, and holy cow, the traffic out there. So, I can't imagine trying to drive from the north side of a city to the south side of the city just to check in on a job. And so we've really helped that process. So that's just kind of the quick overview of CompanyCam. I'm going to throw the poll question up right now. Are you currently using CompanyCam? If you guys could get that answered, that'd be great. And with that, David, I'm going to kind of turn it over to you to talk a little bit about the integration a little deeper. I know I kind of you touched on it, but just to talk a little bit about the CompanyCam JobProgress integration.
That makes sense. By the way, when you're talking about Denver and LA, I'm waiting for VTOLs, vertical takeoff and landing machines, before I actually move there. So there'll be no JP offices in either location until I could fly to my I'm not going for the traffic I did. That's no good for us. I wanted 2 frames ago, you were showing the screen for CompanyCam with the
Yep, I can jump back there.
Yeah, right there. What's really interesting is we have a lot of JobProgress subscribers. and thousands of users, many thousands of users that at any given point, see, JobProgress is a platform where you interact with the business that you work for or the role that you play. You interact at the time and for the reason you need. And one of the beautiful things about the CompanyCam integration is there is a certain percentage of employees where their real role is photographic documentation, inspections, maybe clean up and to go on the job. Like they're not necessarily even writing estimates or in doing this or doing that, or may have to do operations or production. They don't need the full gamut. And what's nice is that with CompanyCam and JobProgress integrated, they're able to feed into the overall picture of the job through a beautiful app that's honed in for that purpose. That's what's so nice. And that's why, regardless of whether or not JobProgress can take photos and CompanyCam can, it's really beyond that. It's the user interface. It's the premium features and what you do with them in terms of documentation. And it's also the way you're integrating that seamlessly in with what else is going on with JobProgress. Does that make sense, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell that to people all the time that, at the end of the day, you need to put a tool in your team's hands that they're going to use and that's built for them, which, like you were saying, there's a lot of guys that all they need to be able to do is document. And we need to make sure that those photos from CompanyCam get to where they need to live, and they need to live in JobProgress. And so it's just, it just makes a ton of sense. It's a great partnership we have. I know you guys work really well with GAF also, and they're one of our great partners. So, just everything about the integration makes sense. I know, like I said, we've got a pretty even mix of people that use both of us in conjunction, and then there's a nice mix that are using one or the other. So I would encourage anyone using one or the other, check the other person out, see if it fits for you guys. But with that, we want to dive into the good content here. We'll take some questions on both of our softwares at the end. But David, I'm going to just turn it over to you.
All right.
Go ahead.
Can I make another note on the because it's only 2:12. We have plenty of time, right? Don't we have?
Oh yeah, we've got plenty of time.
All right, great. Can we go back to the screen about the CompanyCam and JobProgress integration? Because this is also something that owners and business managers should consider. When you're thinking of your team and when you're thinking of trying to maximize like individual input for your company, the beautiful thing about an integration like this is if you have a team of 40 people, you don't necessarily have to have all 40 people signed up to JobProgress. You don't have to have necessarily all 40 people signed up to CompanyCam. What the beautiful thing is that 3 or 4 or 7 that you need out there documenting job site photographic information, you're going to get them hooked up to CompanyCam. And then JobProgress, any users that need access to the entirety of the scheduling, the calendars, the emails, all of the beautiful bells and whistles with respect to running your business can be a part of that. So it's not a all or none sort of solution. I guess I wanted to make that point, Mike, that it's a nice way to get people to contribute in a way that they're comfortable with.
For sure. We hear it all the time, hey, Susan in the office, she just needs to send some pictures here and there. She's not taking them. She's not creating, photo reports. She's not doing a lot with them. She's just needing to look at them once in a while. You have the two of us together. Perfect. Well, the guys in the field are using CompanyCam. They're getting taken, and then we know they're flowing right into JobProgress. Susan's in JobProgress because she's doing the scheduling and, handling the calls from the customers. And when she does need to look at a picture on occasion, it's there for her. Before we jump into the content here, a couple questions have rolled through. Scott, who a good friend of mine down in the Carolinas there, and praying for you with the Hurricane Scott, but he asked, is there extra fees to link CompanyCam and JobProgress? And I replied in the chat, but I wanted to make sure everybody knows that it's 100% free. In fact, you're going to get full support from both entities as well to help you get that integration set up and working. So not only is it free, but we're going to help you get it set up and working. It's really easy to do. but we can do that. We will make sure that everybody that's signed up for this webinar is going to not only get the recording of it, but we'll send out the integration information as well.
Mike, it's also important. Do you remember 8 months ago, we had it where it wasn't quite as beautiful as it is now? And there was like, you could have your CompanyCam projects and your jobs, and they weren't synced. And now all that's behind us. And man, it is great. If you have somebody and you enter a job into JP, you can automatically link that to CompanyCam, and without even going into the CompanyCam app, the next time you open it up, it's there. And so it's that kind of like seamless capability between the two that helps people want to use us, right? So why should they use us either together or individually if it creates more havoc? And it's what it is it's nice because we're not duplicating information anywhere.
Right, and that's what we want to avoid. Couple questions coming in on pricing, some of those things. We love those questions. Keep them coming in. Don't feel like we're going to bypass them. I'm marking all of them. We'll get those answered here at the end of the webinar. But I do want to jump into the 9 things that a homeowner is looking for in a contractor. I feel like this content is great. And I say that because I'm not a contractor. And, those of you that are in here that, I've talked to, I've had dinner with Jeremiah before. I know Scott really well. They know I'm not a contractor, but I've learned a lot from those contractors. So I know a lot about the contracting world because I work with them on a daily basis. But I am a homeowner. So I think this really hits home for me from a content standpoint. So David, I'm just going to let you kind of roll through your 9 things here and kind of talk through what those 9 things are. And then at the end, we'll answer any and all questions that have come in throughout the 9 things.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it, Mike. So 9 things that a homeowner looks at, just generally speaking, an overview of this just as subject matter. 9 things, right? There's probably 100 things. And then at every single minute that you're interacting with a customer, there are these little micro things that they're looking at. So just generally speaking, these are 9 areas where we have found that homeowners really take into account, the methodologies that you're using, the appearance that you make, the way you're interacting with them. And so number 1 out of 9, and Mike, you said that you like this one too. This is timeliness. So timeliness, what's that? So making initial contacts ASAP. And so it is, in today's day and age, this timeliness one, Mike, is probably number 1 for setting the right stage for them feeling comfortable that you're going to actually do what they think they want to pay you to do at some point down the road, right? And so let me tell you where that comes from. 1, when they ring your phone, to answer it clearly and to answer it in a timely fashion, like that would be the start of this timeliness. It's not just arriving to their house on time. It's doing everything in a manner that doesn't create a stumbling block between you and the next step. One of the things that we have in JobProgress, Mike, I'm not sure if you're even aware of this, is sales automation. And so whenever you're in JobProgress and you're pushing a job from, let's say, the lead phase to the appointment phase, or whatever phase that you make in your workflow, you can set up automated emails that go out to the customer as soon as you hang up with them and push it from one stage in JobProgress to the next, so that they get an email as soon as you hang up with them saying, this particular salesman with their picture will be at your door, and you can expect this, and this to happen at that appointment. This is what we're talking about with timeliness. It's part of the sales process from the first time you talk to them until the end, until final payment and beyond, really. You're going to be asking your future customer for many things, not just their payment. You're going to be asking your future customer for a good referral in your neighborhood. You're going to be asking them for social media coverage. You're going to be asking them to put a sign on their lawn. They're going to become part of your sales team. And if you can't start your relationship out with being on time with respect to every point along the way, I think you're missing the boat on that one. Mike, any thoughts on timeliness? I mean, that's
No, I think you hit it really well, and I think I like the analogy of they're on your sales team, and at the end of the day, honestly, if you don't set that good first impression with them, you probably don't want them on your sales team because they're not going to sell you the way you would want to be sold. And so setting that stage, being on time, being punctual is huge because now you've got somebody that's on your sales team that's out there selling you as, hey, you want to work with these guys, as opposed to, yeah, I did business with them, but they took forever. And then
right.
we'll talk about these other things that they're going to really focus on. So yeah, no, I think timeliness is huge. Like you said, it's probably the most important in my opinion, because you're setting the first impression there with that.
All right, very good. Let's go to point number 2. Okay, I mean, come on, quality of work, right? And so, I have to say something about this. I told you when we started that I was actually in sales. I was an estimator for dentists over at Double D. And only after we started to create JobProgress and after we started to understand the needs of contractors at the ownership level and at the sales level and at the operations level, right? Because you can have one company and they all have their own different initiatives. Only until my theory on quality of work is this. You always have to have the highest quality of work, but it has to be consistent with your pricing model and your material delivery model. And so what I mean is this. There shouldn't be a different framework. If you're going to have the most premium products and shitty quality of work, where are you going with that? Where are you going with that model? That's going bye-bye. You're going to lose in your neighborhood. You might have crappy products, the fastest time to delivery, and your quality of work is so-so, and that might work for you. That might work for you because people are expecting it in that neighborhood or with that level of thing. So when we're talking about quality of work, we need for you to think about number 1, work to deliver what the customer is expecting. So quality of work, don't think the answer is this. I want the highest quality at all times. Well, guess what? The highest quality at all times might put a few of you in the bankruptcy grave. And so the quality of work has to be in harmony with the pricing model and the product model. And then your delivery system and your installation and operational and production system has to serve that purpose. Quality of work needs to be thought of from a top-down point of view, and then you train from the bottom up. And safety is a part of that too when it comes to quality of work too. You don't want to have an unsafe environment. Agreed upon materials includes the following: proper communications. This is where I see a major failure. I see a major failure when contractors are too nervous that they're going to get a bad review or a complaint. And so instead of addressing the situation when it comes to material, agreed upon materials, they push it off or they try to pull the wool over and try to substitute something else that might not be available. That is bullshit that will not be put up with. Your homeowner will clearly want to continue to do business with you if you're clear with them and upfront and what I consider to be transparent. Would you agree, Mike, on that one?
I love it. Yeah, transparency is huge. And yeah, use what you say you're going to use. Don't go in and say, yeah, we're going to give you this, because even if it doesn't come out today, they're going to find out. It's like, oh yeah, I've got this product on, and then the next time they have an issue with their roof, or a gutter guy comes and it's like they're telling them something different, it's going to come back and bite you in the long run. So transparency, use what you say you're going to use.
Doing the little things well. I mean, what do you think that means in your mind? Mike?
Yeah, so from my vantage point, the little things are the things that the homeowner's noticing, and oftentimes they're the big things to the homeowner. From a roofing contractor, I hear it all the time. Yeah, there was a couple nails in their yard. Big deal. Well, guess what? I've got a 4 and a 6-year-old running around barefoot in that yard, and to me, that is a big deal. Honestly, you could come and probably slap the roof on and not do as good of a job, but I don't find any, there's no nails, there's no trash, it's cleaned up well. That goes a long way. And so those little things, you often as a contractor see them as the little things, but they're so important. The things that the homeowner is going to notice. I pull into my driveway, my roof looks like my roof. I don't even inspect it. I'm not a roofing contractor. But man, if I see a bunch of nails and a bunch of trash in my yard, I'm going to really notice that. So those little things,
besides paying and getting what you promised, do you know it's the little things that they're actually going to remember? It's positive or negative.
Mm-hmm.
It's the little things that are outside the scope of what they expected. This is what identifies in our brains and what we record. And how about the little things that we do well? Wouldn't we want to use CompanyCam to take photos of those little things so that later on we can use this when it comes to marketing?
Absolutely.
Not only that, but I will say something about the little things. Concentrate on doing little things well. You got guys walking around that have their mandate on what you expect from them in terms of cleanup, in terms of job signs, in terms of, 4-directional 10-house marketing, the plus sign marketing where you market in 10 direction so that you can get more referrals from the neighbors. These guys should have a little things checklist that you demand that they do. And they need to do it whether the homeowner's watching or not. And sometimes it goes beyond nails. And a lot of the times, I have a lot of contractors around the country that surprise me when it comes to that. Mike, where are you from? Nebraska?
Lincoln, Nebraska, yeah.
I got a contractor in Nebraska. No, is it Wisconsin or Nebraska? I don't know if it's Wisconsin or Nebraska, but he gives maple syrup at the end of the job to every new roof that is poured from the tree. Like, you have your beautiful roof, you do your walk around, and you get this beautiful handmade syrup. I mean, come on, that's the little thing done well. And then, now everyone feels good. You get your final check and you leave.
Mm-hmm.
These are the type of quality of work things that can distinguish you between you and your competitor that might not be taking the time to either do it or to mandate that it gets done from the people who work for you and expect a paycheck every week.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, I know, this last point here is, poor quality of work is going to result in the loss of future business. There's 3 types of customers out there. There's the dissatisfied, and that's going to lead to negative reviews. They're going to tell people, about that. There's the overly satisfied. That's how you get your positive reviews. That's the guy giving the maple syrup, or that's the guy making sure, hey, your plants have been watered. I watered all your plants for you while we were, around. I made sure we took good care of them, going that extra mile. And then there's the person that just gets what they expected. You're probably not getting a review out of that person. I called you to put a roof on my house. You came, you put a roof on my house. Communication was what I expected. The roof was what I expected. Nothing was out of the ordinary. I'm not going to go and give you a negative review, but I'm probably not giving you that 5-star review. I'm probably not telling people, in my neighborhood, hey, I worked with David. He was great. Put a great roof on, made sure my place was cleaned up, even gave me a bottle of maple syrup at the end. Like you said, David, the little things, that's what they remember, and that's what they talk about.
Now, Mike, using these tools that we have in both our respective software packages and combined, even more powerful, will allow you another thing. It's called CYA, right? Cover your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of things like this wasn't there before the job started, but clearly you have pictures where the siding was already hanging off the rake edge near the gutter. And then you get blamed for it, but you can clearly show them pictures that it was already hanging off. But when it comes to poor quality, there's not a contractor that I don't know that doesn't make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone screws up now and then, and you try to minimize it and you have to handle it. I personally advocate for a centralized dealing with that. I like for people like an owner, somebody who is either an operations manager or a production manager, somebody who's responsible that you can throw it up the chain and make sure that you get zero. You don't try to push things off to below, to people below you. All problems should be pushed up to the top, so that it could be handled without fail. Handling your problems, you can take the most irate customer and 99.5% of the time get them to not only like you, but then talk positively about you if it's handled the right way. But if you push those down, if you push the quality of work issues that were failures down, I'm telling you, it's hard to get the solution if you're pushing problems down. Problems need to be pushed up the ladder. I would like to hear the thoughts on that from the audience, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, chime in. Let us know about that. I think from the customer's perspective, that's what they expect because, contractors, David and I, we work with people all the time. And when there is that dissatisfaction, no matter where you're at a restaurant, it's with your credit card company. I don't care who you're interacting with. If there's something that you're not satisfied with, you just have come to expect to be passed upward and to not have that, like you said, pushed down, pushed away, have somebody not the owner, not the project manager dealing with those kind of issues.
That's right.
So I think we kind of we hit quality of work pretty well here. How about responsiveness? And this kind of goes hand in hand with timeliness, but I'll let you jump into this one here, David.
Yeah, it does go hand in hand with timeliness, but in my mind, it's a little different, right? So responsiveness is also, I've always been taught ever since I was a little kid that you have to be aware of people's intentions first. And responsiveness from a delivery point of view as a contractor, you're intending to deliver a quality job at all times. You're intending to be timely, show up on time. But in terms of responsiveness, it really goes to reputation and it really goes to your intentions in terms of how you interact and work with the people that pay you money to do work for them. And so, if you're responsive with respect to they're not really even issues, the workflow of the job, the way, like a musical instrument has a cadence and it has like a rhythm. When you go to work for a customer, whether it be a 1-day job or a 45-day job, it has a rhythm. Stay in flow with the rhythm. That's responsiveness. Don't be away from vacation during times when they expect you to be there. Allow yourself to use tools like, let's say, JobProgress has with respect to our customer homepage, so they know when products are being delivered, when the expected time of installation is. Let them know how many texts or emails have been sent, and then let them know where they stand with respect to their job. So timeliness is doing it at the right time, but responsiveness really is letting them know the framework for what to expect throughout the duration. That's my idea of responsiveness.
Yeah, I like it. And I love point 3 here, set clear expectations with the client. If you say, hey, it's past 5 o'clock, I don't answer calls from clients, I don't take emails, I don't do any of these things, I don't text message, that's your prerogative. I'm not saying that's wrong as a contractor, but you've got to make sure that your client knows that the very first time you meet with them and say, hey, my door is open, my phone is open, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Make sure you reach me in between those time, because, that's where responsiveness really comes into play. It's okay to not take calls at 8 o'clock at night when you're with your family. That's 100% fine if that's how you run your business, but don't pull that on your client and say the next day, oh yeah, sorry I didn't get back to you last night. I don't take calls after 5 o'clock. If you don't, that's great, but just make sure they know that. Same thing, with the supplies and the roll-offs and those kind of things. Make sure that communication is done, like you said, at the right time. And at the right time isn't when they're calling you saying, hey, David, what is this thing going in my driveway? What in the world is going on here? Just prepare them for it. Hey,
I'll tell you, as a platform, over the last, let's say, we've been selling JobProgress for about 2.8 years, almost 3 years, right? We had 0 contractors, now we have a lot of contractors nationally. Well, actually internationally, right? Because we have England, we have Canada, we have Australia, we have a couple in Bahamas and Puerto Rico and Mexico. And so, make a long story short, 3 years ago in JobProgress as a platform, we were just getting involved, Mike, with emailing, with the ability to interact with your homeowner vis-a-vis email. And we sort of perfected that and we felt good about it. Then we got into, Google, the two-way syncing between the calendar, and we were able to do a little thing with the tasks. And so they know when you're coming, who's coming, what time. That felt good. Just recently in the last 6 months and for all of 2020, in terms of responsiveness within our platform and with respect to everything, whether it be CompanyCam images, I don't know, you guys are doing videos now, right?
Yeah, video's out in beta right now. Some of you watching may already have it, depending on the beta you're on. But yeah, video's built and ready to roll out.
Whatever the case may be, we're, with respect to responsiveness, we're going to change our platform that everything that you once had as an email, you'll be able to text message your homeowners through the app at any point. So text messaging for responsiveness is like super powerful.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yep.
Let's jump to expertise and experience. I'll let you kind of fire away on this one as well.
Yep. Expertise and experience is, detrimental. One of the things I love about Instagram, Instagram?
Yeah.
You get to see the contracting companies that you're selling to, right? And so let's say I sell to Henderson Roofing or whatever, or C3 or some of these awesome companies that are using JobProgress, that are using CompanyCam and that are happy. You get to see what their team looks like. And I swear to God, you can almost spot an experienced and expertise, a team that has expertise and experience by the way they look. Like they just, I don't know, they just seem like they have their shit together. It means that you have to take time out every month for training in different areas. It means you have to understand the families that and the nature and the personality of the people that work for you, and help themselves become better at what they do. To be a better installer, to be a better estimator, to know how to use the tools that are out there, makes them more valuable and makes you as a company able to use expertise and experience as a selling point. And people can see it from their first interaction with the company. And so I have some companies that in JobProgress, you have customized forms and templates. One of those early templates is a checklist that they go over with their homeowner customers. And it basically tells them, have you explained that all of our installers are certified and trained in these products, or, have, GAF training or whatever, care training, whatever the case may be. And then the homeowner says, yes, he told me about that. Have we told you that we use the best prices? Yes, he's told me that. Have we told you that we're going to be timely and responsive? Yes, he told me that. And then they sign at the bottom, and then you make the salesman sign before you even have the job. That means that before they even have the price, they feel like they already have an agreement with you that you're going to have on their lawn with their pretty rose bushes a work crew that has expertise and experience, that's going to be responsive, that's going to be on time. It's almost like a mini contract. And so, expertise and experience, it goes to the heart of the value of a business. I don't see a business flourishing, and I don't see an owner being able to sell a business or transfer it to, let's say, somebody in your company or a child that is growing up, without having people that are very well in the positions they're at. That's the only way you have value in a business.
You bet. You bet. The only thing I would add, I think you really covered that well, is, it's okay to sell longevity. We've been in this market for X number of years. Just build that trust, that rapport, and really work to be the homeowner's go-to source. And I think people oftentimes, they love that low-hanging fruit. A storm rolled in, I'm just closing deal after deal after deal. That's great. But it's those relationships that you're going to build where they may call you for something else. Hey, I trust David. David really knows his stuff. David's a roofer, but man, maybe David can tell me something about something else that's going on at my house. I'm going to give David a call. I've built the relationship, and now we could go on a whole tangent here about how, well, maybe it's something to do with your electricity or your plumbing or one of those things. Well, now you've got the ability to refer them to somebody you trust, strengthen your relationship with the client, and referring business to somebody else, which always, that reciprocation goes both ways. It never does it not happen that way. You almost feel like you owe them something. Like, if roofing contractor refers business to a plumber, and then the plumber's like, man, I almost owe my roofing buddy over here a referral, and it just works. So be that source of knowledge for your client, and be willing to answer their questions.
Point well taken. And for you younger owner operators, whether it be one-man band or you have a team of 5 or 10 or 15 people, I don't care if you're using CompanyCam or using JobProgress, and you think that everything these days is about SEO, and that you have this nice funnel and this stream of leads coming in, and you think that's going to be your future. Trust me, longevity has more to do with expertise and experience, building your reputation, doing what you say you're going to do, showing up on time. These are the things that are going to be able to feed your family over time, not pumping $5,000 a month into an SEO plan, which is great and you should do it, but that's not the value of the business. You're paying for that. These things will be with you regardless. And so that's
Absolutely.
a good point with respect to longevity.
You bet. Honesty, I think this one goes without saying, but it needs to be said. So I'll let you take this one as well, David.
Yeah, so it's funny. People start to laugh or they joke. Like, everybody knows out of a room of 100 contractors, there's always 2 guys that, they have the shady reputation. They're the shady ones. Like they they just look shady. They have a reputation. Maybe they don't pay their bills. A lot of times they don't pay their suppliers, right? And so that's where the problem sometimes begins. They take down payments for jobs, but they don't actually do the work, or they don't have, any way. And sometimes they have drinking issues. Listen, we're all people. We're all sinners. We all have inner things that become part of our business. But if you are in business and you're waking up every morning and you're going to go to work, you're going to have 2 paths to take. You're either going to have a path that's an honest path that is going to allow you to interact with a good heart and not be able to go to sleep, thinking that you've screwed everybody, or you're going to have another path where you are playing the game where you try to screw everybody, and that might work out for you in the short run. But I can guarantee you'll be moving a lot. Because when the communities, especially with social media, people will get you good if you're out to screw people these days, and rightfully so. You have to be honest with yourself first. Don't try to, and if you feel like, there's things that you need to do to survive, really think about that from an ethical point of view. And try to make the decisions that you feel are right. Everybody knows between right and wrong. We don't have to talk about that. Try your best to institute the honest policies into your business, and your employees will be less prone. Don't ever let your guard down, but be less prone from stealing from you, right? Extra materials at the end of the job, subcontractors. You treat me well, I'll treat you well. You fuck me, I'm going to fuck you. That's how they think. that's what you have to watch out for. So if you start honest and let them know there'll be repercussions, then you can deal with them that way. But try to put your honest foot forward. I mean, it makes you feel good when you're able to have that higher ground. I don't know what else I could say about that, Mike.
Yeah, I think one thing is oftentimes because of the untrustworthy contractor, contractors are seen just negatively. And I think one thing you can really do is help show the homeowner, what's going on, that communication, transparency piece. So I added on there, document and show exactly what you're fixing, making sure you let them know why you're fixing it. So that at the end of the job, you don't say, yeah, we replaced 12 sheets of rotted decking, because most homeowners aren't going to have a clue what rotted decking is. And if you aren't able to show them visually, this is the rotted decking that we replaced, and here's the fresh, clean decking, it's like, did they really replace this, or was this just their way of getting a little extra money out of me?
Not only that, 100% correct. Not only that, but you cannot scale dishonesty. You can only scale honesty. You can't grow dishonesty. You can only grow honesty.
Absolutely.
Dishonesty, that can give you satisfaction in a particular instance, but you can't scale it. You can't continue to screw people and expect to do well. And so it's best not to start to begin with.
You bet. Let's jump over here to friendliness. Again, I kind of should go without saying, but it needs to be said.
So, friendliness is nice. You have to be careful about friendliness, because like anything in life, it's like saying that bread is bread. There's English muffins, there's toast, there are bagels, there are long baguettes, there's sourdough bread. So bread and friendliness, there's many types of friendliness. So first, I want to say that you, as a salesperson, as a business owner, as a representative of your business, just be aware that friendliness isn't a one type of bread situation. Use it in a way that's conducive to the situation that you're in, right? And so you want to be friendly with purpose. I would say that. You want to be friendly with purpose, purposeful friendliness. Be nice and listen. Listen and really care. Can I tell you what I really loved? Mike, this is a true story. Before this, I used to sell for dentists.
Mm-hmm.
I used to sell my ass off, and I really loved it. I really wasn't a salesman. I guess I was a salesman. I'm selling you on the fact that I wasn't a salesman. I'm a pretty good salesman. Okay. I mean, I will admit I'm a good salesman. But what I really loved is I care about people's houses. Like, I want to see it more beautiful. I really want to see the color scheme to be perfect. I want both the husband and the wife to be happy. I want the materials really to last a lifetime. I want them to know that Deck Armor really does give you an ROI in the long run, especially if there's a problem pre-installation. I want them to know that certain materials have benefits or not. And when they see, part of friendliness is caring, like listening and really saying, I want you to be happy, and I'm an expert and I know what to do, but just tell me what you need and I'll help in any way I can to give you what you deserve for your house and what you can afford. Let me tell you something. You're going to walk away with the job every time. I don't care if there's 6 people going to that door. That's your job. That's friendliness to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think approachable is probably a good synonym to throw in there, because that's kind of what you're hitting at. It's like you've got to, and it goes back to where we were talking about being their source of knowledge, being that expert. Yeah, you've got to be the expert, but you also have to be willing to share that with them. I know people want to understand what's going on with their house, but if you come across, like that you don't want to inform them of that, you don't want to talk about that, it's going to just leave kind of this weird feeling. Be open. Let them ask questions. They aren't putting a roof on a house every day, of the week. So their questions are going to come off, and they may be annoying at times. They may seem like, wow, why are you asking me this question? but they truly just want to understand, and they want to, have that conversation with you, kind of get on your level, see what's going on in their house.
And I don't have it here, but there's a little sign, and believe it or not, my girlfriend, she got it for me on one of these little plaques. You're never too busy to be friendly. I personally, I feel sometimes I'm overwhelmed. And it's not that I want to be unfriendly, but unfortunately, I feel like I'm so busy that I let my busyness trump my friendliness. And so be reflective of who you are and your bandwidth, and just remember this saying that, that you shouldn't be too busy to be friendly. And if you have to write yourself a note or a sign or put it in your day room, in your office, we're never too busy to be friendly. Trust me, that's going to give you 8 to 12% job closings more on that friendliness, just on this point alone, guaranteed.
You bet. Let's jump here to cost.
Yeah.
Obviously, cost is important to the homeowner. If you want to just dive into that one a little bit here, David.
Yeah, so I love this one. Listen, I'm a finance major. I went to school for finance at Rutgers. I graduated first in my class. I love cost because it brings me back to what I told you about. What did I say? There had to be harmony between the products you sell, the quality, right? And then the team that does the expertise. Well, cost is right in this equation. Cost is right up in this equation. I am a firm believer that you can be successful at any cost if you have harmony in your message and your team and your deployment otherwise. I've got a guy in New Hampshire that is so busy who does hand nailing roof shingles. He will never use any equipment. He sells for 900 to like power prices, 900 a square, whatever. He's got a backlog like there's no tomorrow because he developed his niche at that price. So harmony in pricing with the other things you sell. If you ever need help with that, whether you use JobProgress or not, or CompanyCam, I will offer my services to help you come up with a pricing schematic for your company that will make you successful, whether you use JobProgess or not. I love doing it. I love help contractors. It doesn't matter whether you use our product or not. I think that you could, if you spend a few hours on this subject, you can make yourself, I know contractors, Mike, that do, let's say, $3 million a year, and the owner brings home $500,000 in his pocket. And I know contractors that do $3 million a year, and the owner says, we had no profit this year. There was less than 30,000. It's because there's no harmony with their pricing. And what they're doing is they're being reactive to competitive environment as opposed to being proactive. So this is what I say about cost and pricing. What's your thoughts?
No, I think you really hit that well. My big one is, and like I said, a lot of my perspective comes from the homeowners, and is just being transparent with the pricing, making sure that there's no surprises at the end of the job. I liken it to I drop my car off, get a quick oil change or something while I'm at the office, and I get a call, and it's, yeah, Mr. Gogan, you need this, and this, and I've got somebody I trust now, but it used to always be, do I really need these things? All those kind of things. And I think that, just being reasonable, but selling your value, making sure that they understand, hey, you're paying for more than just a product with our company. Our pricing's transparent. This is what we're going to charge you. But this is why we're the better choice, even if it is, more expensive per square. You're gonna be able to win those with the other things that we've talked about in the webinar so far. So I think that's pretty valuable. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head though as far as cost goes.
Mike, let's go back to cost for a second.
You bet. I'm jumping back.
I want to emphasize, and you've been on so many trade shows with me, some of my competitors, that's fine. I don't care who is at, when we go to trade shows where manufacturers say, sell value, sell our higher priced products, right? It's always this push to sell, instead of, let's say, HD, you want to sell ultra HD, whatever the case may be. They're always looking for you to sell premium product, and they're saying you can make more money by selling, the premium product. That is true, but trust me, that's only one part of the puzzle. If you want to go from 350 a square to 420, the entire business has to reflect that, not just the product. The pitch has to reflect it. The way you sell it has to reflect it. What they get out of it has to be reflected. What they're paying for on the pre and post, meaning pre and post job value, is super important too. So when it comes to cost, you have to take the whole package of what they're getting and then price that in your community and make sure you fit into a framework around your competitors. And if you're going head to head against a competitor, then you have to compete on other means besides price, which I get into in maybe another discussion. But don't think that changing the product will allow you to push price based on that alone. It's a losing scenario if you think that's all you have to do.
You bet. Okay. You bet. So let's jump to proximity here. I think this is kind of an interesting one. I'll let you go first, and then I've got some things I'd like to add as well.
All right. We don't have much time. Proximity makes me happy. Search engine optimization, they've come a long way with respect to proximity-based SEO. And so you should definitely get involved with making sure your company ranks high. Please do me a favor, guys. Own your own website. Don't let other people own your website. A business, you should own it yourself. Your website is the front door of your business. Make sure you own it. I don't care if you have somebody else manage it, but make sure that URL is under your name. It should be your asset. When you're doing proximity-based SEO, figure out what towns, what municipalities, what districts are around you. Get to understand the type of people that live in those proximities. Get to understand who the competitors are with respect to competing within those towns, and then make sure you have a go-to-market plan and a deployment plan that makes sense. Don't just think, oh, my truck can go 30 miles in any direction, so we serve everybody. That may or may not be smart. So do the math and understand who you're competing against and the package that you've put together and the pricing model that you put together, and make sure you can overlay it around your proximity and make sure it makes sense for your proximity. That's my initial thought on that, sir.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll just add, it's okay to service areas that are, significant ways away from where you're at, but doing it smart, like you said, and having the plan. Sam Struthers is, in the Floridas or maybe up in the Carolinas now, and he's going to mobilize and have a full team helping with the hurricane relief. And is it close to his primary offices? No, but he's got essentially the ability to, in minutes' notice, have a new office completely set up, ready to go, and in another area. And I think that's the big thing is people say, well, if I have to be close, can I go and help in the need of a storm, or maybe there's a town 45 minutes away? Well, yes, it's fine to go there, but having a plan so that you can essentially take everything you need and transplant it to where you're going to be working is huge. And it's going to go a long way with the client as well, making sure that, I don't know Sam's, full on plan, but I guarantee you he's not signing deals with these people and saying, hey, I work out of Texas, I work out of Colorado, we've got offices all over. We're going to make you whole again, Mr. Home or Mrs. Homeowner, but you'll never be able to reach us again after this is done. He's going to have a plan in place for, hey, what happens if there's a minor repair? Who should I call? Who's going to take care of that for the homeowner?
Yeah, I mean, having that operational capacity to deploy and create your own proximity based on a situation like a weather situation or an opportunity, that's awesome. And having tools like the ones that we sell to
Yeah.
be able to have that at that time, I mean, God, that goes hand in hand. I mean, it excites me just thinking about
Yes, it does.
it.
Online reviews. I think this is our last one, and then we'll start answering what questions we have here.
Okay.
Do you want to take this one? You want me to take this one?
I mean, I could go with online reviews. I
Yeah, go
mean,
for it.
so there's a lot of ways that happy and unhappy homeowners or commercial customers can leave. So to me, an online review is almost like a tip. You know, when you go and you buy food and it comes to $35, but then you leave $42, that extra $7 is extra money I'm giving you for the service you provided. An online review is that extra service that you provided. It's a cost to them in time for them to go out and give you something, right? And if you're asking them for this, you should do it in a way that doesn't require much effort on their part. And most importantly, gives them a sense of pride and thankfulness. People want to be prideful in the work that you've done for them, and they want to be thankful. They want to express gratitude. It gives people pleasure for you to allow them to express gratitude to you. And so, look at the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different avenues you have for. Put yourself in the mindset of a homeowner, and let's just say that you provided the job for a homeowner. Act like them and say, I want to give XYZ Roofing a great review. How do I do it? And then go through the process yourself. Go through Facebook, give yourself a review and see what it would feel like. Go through JobProgress and try to give a review. Do you like using the customer webpage? Is it easy enough to hit click review? Can you check out beautiful photos from CompanyCam and JobProgress while you're doing it? Can you leave a comment that others could? Can you share it to multiple online sources at once, like Facebook, like Instagram, like what is it called with the little Tweety bird? Twitter. Yeah, Twitter. So can you do all that at once, or do you have to manually do it at each one? And so try to go with a service that automates the process. And remember that you're asking them for a favor, so make it easy.
You bet. I love the analogy of the tip. I've actually never thought of it that way, but I think that's a great analogy. And the one thing I always say to people when talking about reviews is, they are the most important thing going forward, I feel, in getting new business. Because at the end of the day, even if you come and knock on my door and you leave a great impression, I'm probably not signing the contract on the spot, and I'm probably going to Google your company. And if I don't see very many reviews, a low number of reviews or a low average ranking, either one of those kind of puts red flags up in my mind. Oh yeah, they got a 4.8 rating, but they've got 7 reviews. That's not who I want to do business with. But the other thing is work to make the dissatisfied, customers happy. And there's lots of options and ways out there, but essentially put a feeler out before you go and have them put a review out on Google and on Yelp and all these different sources. Put the feeler out. Make sure you know what that review is going to be before you help them put that review out there for the world to see.
That's right. And as part of your process, listen, there's always a saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You ever hear that expression?
Yeah.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease. Give the squeaky wheels an opportunity to get greased up prior to online review.
Exactly.
If you pushing them off and you're not responsive, right? Remember we talked about responsiveness? Then guess what? The squeaky wheel is going to be online squeaky wheel, and nobody wants that.
You bet. No, I think that was great. I think overall, like I said, David, appreciate you joining us with this content. I think it's a unique set of content, and I think it speaks a lot to you and JobProgress as a whole that this is, what you wanted to bring to the table. And I think it was great content. With that, let's take some questions. Those of you that have been watching with us, we appreciate you. That was a nice chunk of time with good content. But we still have a decent amount of people, that have been with us for the full hour plus, which is awesome. If you have questions, let us know. It looks like a lot of the questions, monthly cost setup fee was answered, but with CompanyCam, there's no setup fee. Obviously, it's easy to get up and running. The monthly cost is $12 a month per user. And JobProgress, the answer that came through, but it was $500 one-time setup fee, $50 a month per user.
Unless you have multiple users, so it goes down to 40 at 10, and then 25 at 25 plus.
Perfect. Yeah. Let's see here. One question was, can you use CompanyCam on an iPad? Absolutely. Pictures can be edited, shared very easily through CompanyCam, or if you have the integration, you're still edit them in CompanyCam, but then the sharing can be done from either platform. Let's see here. Rachel has a great question. I'll kind of take this one first, David, but then I'll let you kind of add as well. Okay. So the added benefit of CompanyCam versus just JobProgress, there's a couple areas that we would say from CompanyCam's angle, and we kind of hit on a few of those throughout the presentation, but the big one is, if you've got people that work for you in any capacity, whether it be on your team, subs, those kind of things, that you say, hey, I need pictures, I need communication from you, I need documentation from you, but you don't need to be seeing all the scheduling, and you don't need to be, your subs probably don't need to be communicating with the clients. A lot of those features, the robust features that JobProgress has, you don't need them. Perfect. Put them on CompanyCam. It'll tie right to your JobProgress. So now they're part of the community. Yeah, they're part of that communication. And you get what you need, but they're not having all the robust features that they don't need. I know JobProgress has some photo capabilities. CompanyCam is just a little bit more robust in terms of that.
Not only that, Mike, but CompanyCam is made for that.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? So I've happily used CompanyCam out in the field with my customers and on my own. And I like the experience. If your salesmen and your estimators like the experience, well, why not pay the $12 or $14 a month or whatever it is? What is it these days?
$12 a month, and
why would you want to spend that if they're happy with using that, and you're still going to get that photographic information in JP no matter what?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's perfect. Janelle asked, is there an easier way to share pictures from CompanyCam to JobProgress? Janelle, feel free. I've advanced to this slide here, David at JobProgress.com, Michael at CompanyCam.com. Feel free to reach out to either of us. If you're using both of us and you have the integration set up, it should be taking care of that for you. But we want to hear feedback. If the integration, we want to make the integration better. I think it's a very good integration, but
we are going to make it better. We're already on this is going to be our third round to improve the integration. So we're always looking for a loop of feedback and for people to say, I love that it does this, but could it do this or could it do that? That's what's going to be great.
You bet. And I'm going to turn my webcam off real quick here. If you're watching and you are new to CompanyCam, just down here at the bottom, CompanyCam.com/webinar. We would love to have you try it out. We'll give you 30 days free, 50% off your first 2 months in trying it. And then we will make sure that, so we'll reach out from CompanyCam's end, but we'll make sure that we get David and his team all of your contact information, and they'll be able to reach out via email as well. So reach out to us. We'll reach out to you. But if you're using one or the other, CompanyCam or JobProgress, I would highly recommend checking the other out just to see, what would that do for my overall efficiency? Because when I talk to clients, a lot of times they say, well, man, I don't know if I want to add another $12 or, say you're going to have 25 users on JobProgress. Man, I don't know if I want to add another $25 per guy. that's definitely a good concern. It goes back to the cost.
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing I always tell them is look at what it's going to do from an ROI standpoint for you. Is it going to save you, 10 minutes a day per guy?
There you go.
If it is, it's going to more than pay for itself. And so, check them out. Both companies I know for a fact are willing to talk to you. I see, some of the JobProgress guys are in here. Looks like Lester and Doug are in here. You're not going to have a hard time finding somebody to talk to at either company. So if you're new to either of us, we'd love to have you check us out. I think we've got all the questions answered here. We went a little, little over time. We got one more question here. Mark with a question. Mark still does not understand what CompanyCam is and what it is used for. Mark, that's great. He wanted somebody from JobProgress to reach out, but Mark, we can have somebody from CompanyCam reach out as well. But if you just go to this link right here, companycam.com/webinar, it'll take you about 30 seconds to start a trial. There's no commitment with the trial. We don't ask for a credit card or anything like that. But what's great about it is we do have an onboarding specialist that will then have your information. They can reach out, answer questions on CompanyCam, on the integration with JobProgress. So between, the two companies, we can really get you set there as well. So,
Mike, thank you so much for putting this together. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed it, and I think the audience enjoyed it as well.
Absolutely. No, I think it was a great. Appreciate you as well. And we love our relationship with JobProgress, and I think that this kind of got the wheel going. There's a couple places I could have went on another 45-minute tangent on a topic. So look for more of these coming up. We do 2 to 3 of these every month. So be looking for these coming up, and we'll probably have another one here with JobProgress in the near future.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Okay, bye now.